the week that was, after the day that was on Tuesday of this week. The Combine was last week. That really snuck up on us.
Yeah, it really did. It's because, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm just not the biggest Combine fan. I used to love it.
Yeah,
I used to relish over it.
Yeah.
I used to watch all of it, tape it. And in high school, I'd come home and watch. I know you do. You and I talk about it probably. I guarantee it. It's not that it stinks now. It's that I stopped drinking the Kool-Aid and started to understand that fast on a 40-yard dash is not football fast. And that's unfortunate because this is an awesome, and I want to break it down. This is not to knock any, because this is what I love how athletic these guys are. And I love seeing them. I don't care if it's drills. I'm always into watch football. So these guys doing drills is still more impressive than whatever else we flipping on TV that day. And I guess that's why I get sucked into it. But the results just never have paid off, I guess.
Yeah, no, I would certainly agree with that. The highlight of the Combine, walking away, was Jordan Davis.
Which again, and this is, I think, part of the fun of the Combine at this point. Like
it's what makes it worth watching.
Everyone has now found a different groove, and I think everyone's on the same page of what I just stated. I don't think I'm breaking news when I'm not laying out any game here by saying that. I'm just saying what everyone else has obviously probably said and thought many times before, but. So like what we're about to talk about with Jordan Davis is just absolutely, that's the highlight of it. It's the fun of it.
That's what makes it great. I mean, this guy, 341 pounds, walks out there with a swag, with a strut, with a smoothness, just clocks a 4.8, 40 like it's nothing. Laser time. I mean, that's as accurate as it can get. And then he stepped up, 10.3 broad, 32-inch vert, 341 pounds. Like I was thinking, it's literally like a refrigerator just jumping straight off the ground.
What a great way to put it in a refrigerator. Like, just imagine that right now. Like, just stop what you're doing. Just imagine.
32 inches, just a refrigerator.
Next time you walk by your fridge, just think about it jumping. Because whatever it's under, it's not 32 inches above it. So, like, just think of it getting to, like, the ceiling. And, like, the bottom of your refrigerator almost is, like, there. Almost. Like, that's a pretty insane.
And then gracefully just landing.
Yeah. It didn't come down hard. It didn't shake the whole house. It just floated.
Gracefully landed. Just
so listen, and these are the
special.
things that, and again, the Combine speed different than football speed, but like at the end of the day, when it's put up there on the board that Patrick Mahomes ran a slower 40 time than him, right? Does Patrick Mahomes think, just for a second, I know it doesn't mean anything because he's like a second later, he's like, nah, it doesn't mean anything, it's coming, but for a half a second, does he think, is this guy really gonna catch me? Like, you know what I mean?
Is it from behind?
Like, am I in trouble with a defensive maybe tackle? Like, and like what? Like
the freak,
a defensive line?
The freak, the young lion, Michael Parsons tweeted with the emojis like freak. I mean, and Micah ran a 4.3 last year at 240 pounds.
He did.
So I mean, if he's calling you a freak, you're a freak.
And the refrigerator and everything else we're talking about, blah blah. That's also part of like what a way to showcase 10 years ago what they look like to what the players look like today to what they might look like 10 years from now.
And that's why football is my favorite, because a guy that literally looks like Tom Brady looks in that famous Tom, you're the GOAT. Please don't take this any.
We love ourselves some Tom Brady.
But that picture of Tom at the Combine.
No question, he looks like me.
He's the GOAT.
Chubbier than that, but
he's the GOAT. And then we got people like Lawrence Taylor is the GOAT too.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's why football is the greatest.
You're not wrong.
You're
not wrong. Aaron Donald, right? Aaron Donald and Tom Brady played in a competitive playoff game this season.
Yeah, exactly. On the same field, and they're both the best at what they do.
That's incredible.
That's literally makes it the
best. I agree with you. That's what makes it the best.
The highlight of the QB portion, I believe this was Wednesday or Thursday, might have been Friday. It was Malik Willis. He has a cannon, rocket arm. The guy's athletic as hell.
Did you see them throwing the ball off the wall?
I did not.
They were doing hardest pass, and they were throwing the ball as hard as they could off the wall.
No.
I'd suggest looking just one clip up, because I'll be honest with you, again, mean nothing. Like, there's no question that coaches were standing there saying, I do not want you throwing that through Devontae's hands that hard, Devontae Smith's hands that hard. Like, the Eagles coaches were just like, nah, please don't ever do that again. But fun to watch.
Cool.
It was kind of cool, right?
Yeah, they're just throwing fastballs at the wall.
They were literally just throwing the ball as hard as they could at the wall. It was interesting.
Malik Willis, he tested out really well. So he was the highlight. Kenny Pickett, the 8.5-inch hands.
Man,
the only thing
part of the reason I hate the Combine.
Yeah, because of those type of storylines that come out and those type of narratives that are written
I'll
through
be the first
combine.
to tell you, and I understand the hand thing. You want to break down what small hands mean for the people who don't?
So, I mean, the only thing it really impacts on a quarterback level is ball security. Obviously, if you have bigger hands, you can hold the ball more firm, more steady, and, you have a less chance of dropping it, it slipping out of your hand, someone batting out of your hand. But
all right, so here's the way I look at
if you're building your offensive linemen to have big hands and long arms, I mean,
that's true.
You should be fine.
And let me take you to another step. The way I look at it as and again, I've been wrong about people, but Russell Wilson, part of the reason I like him so much is because when he was in college, I was saying he's going to be an awesome NFL quarterback, and everyone's like, no, he's too small, he's not going to be able to run in college or in the NFL, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, but what he did in college is he got out of bounds. He did did things that made me think that translates that he understands his deficiencies and he's going to go forward. Kenny Pickett in college didn't fumble the ball.
No,
he didn't. What we're worried about, and I don't disagree with you. The small hands thing have correlated to that.
It's the only thing that it truly impacts.
He understands his deficiency. He made sure he takes extra consciousness.
I'm sure he does.
Of this.
I'm sure he's coached up.
I hate to say this, now he fumbles 8 times his rookie year or whatever, but at the end of the day, I genuinely think based off his work to this point, his hands have not been a problem. What we would be worried about, you just have to go watch every snap he did, which all these coaches are doing.
Right now,
they're gonna know right away that means absolutely nothing. Nothing. He's a baller. The kid can play. So
he can certainly ball out. So for it being more of a show, it being an act, this year was
there's no question.
Overall from a numbers and a data and an analytics standpoint. As much as I am on the fence about analytics,
I love analytics.
It was huge as far as it being the fastest.
I agree.
Combine ever at an average of 4.71 seconds.
Yep.
So that, on average, overall, everyone was moving.
The wide receiving class this year is just insanely fast.
Unbelievably fast. A lot of the kids
DBs
from
too,
Bama.
though. DBs obviously.
The fastest DB time was 4.23. So a 4.2 DB certainly gives you a chance in the NFL with a little bit of technique. And 31 players this year ran sub 4.40s. That's the most ever. So that's just absolutely unthinkable. But it goes with the same narrative that we always try to paint, and it's the truth. As we grow, as
science,
as time evolves, everyone gets bigger, stronger, faster, and this is just absolute proof of it. This is the fastest running back, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and DB group to ever test out at the combine. So Indy had some fireworks for it just being some drills and
listen,
a glorified workout is essentially what it is.
Absolutely, and again. It usually doesn't translate, but how fun is that to just be able for them to all be able to say?
I was a part of the most explosive
draft class. You know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, it might start translating that kind of stuff because analytics and data and blah blah blah. It just reminds me we were talking about Randall Cunningham and Mike Vick and Cam Newton's and blah blah blah.
Lamar.
It just reminds you how again the evolution of it of where it's at. So
and it just continues, and it's not just at the more athletic, or what you would think would be the more athletic positions, like the wide receivers, the quarterbacks. It's happening on the D line. 340 pound dudes moving like gazelles.
The best way to put that is Ryan Clark. One of my favorite stories from Ryan Clark is he said in a preseason game, the final year he played, he knew he was retiring after the year because he looked across the field and Cam Newton was playing quarterback for the other team.
And he knew.
And he said, if they're making quarterbacks like that, I can't play. I don't play the same sport as we used to. And it's really funny because he's a DB, so everything we're saying about that's exactly where it's at. Speaking of freaks and genetics and evolution and science,
our GOAT.
Saturday night, LeBron James,
Ramon James,
put up 56 points in the same game Steph Curry played in. Steph Curry only put 30. Now, 30 is impressive. I'm not going to sit here and knock it.
It's a good night's work.
But what's Steph Curry to you?
The greatest shooter of all time.
Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time to me, and he's the greatest shooter of all time to pretty much everybody else you talk to. In the same 4 quarters, on the same night, in the same building, underneath the same roof, drinking the same Gatorade coolers, same announcer, same broadcast, same everything. LeBron scored 26 more points than the greatest shooter of all time.
When they had to win. They had no choice. They had to win. He had to set a statement. He had to show his team that he's not messing around. This is not who he associates himself with. Is peasants. Shout out Coach JB. Westbrook. Not LeBrick. LeBron. Westbrook.
Yeah. King James. But
Westbrook. He doesn't do this. This is not who he is. But unfortunately, this is what he always has to do.
I'll be the first to
What he always has done is have to overcome and lead a group of blind when he can see the best.
Okay. This particular situation, I feel like is LeBron's fault. Most years, I do not feel like I feel like the Heat thing turned into he didn't have the control that he wanted, and then a lot of this, that, and the next thing, blah blah blah, and it wasn't the team that he thought, you know what I mean, going to the finals, and then he leaves the Heat because he felt like, all right, then he goes to Cleveland, I have the control I want, right? They win the title, they get to the title every year, blah blah blah. Kyrie leaves, okay, so not really circumstances he can control. He gets to LA, okay. Brought in Anthony Davis, they win the championship. So now it's hard because Anthony Davis is on the downslide, and I think we talked about this last week about that, like that particular situation.
He's just very injury prone.
And then
he's still young. He's still in his prime.
Okay, but so then that's unforeseen. Kind of not LeBron's fault. And they got a championship, so it's hard to blame. But what is his fault is they could have gotten Buddy Hield. They could have gotten this. They could have did that. They could have blah blah blah. And instead he wanted Westbrook.
And I know he's your guy. He's my guy. But an old Carmelo.
So I was actually going to say, I'm biased. So they get rid of everybody except LeBron and Melo because Melo will still be putting 10 to 20 on off the bench.
Does.
But at the end of the day, he's not significant enough that
That's the thought process. Like what are you thinking? Seriously.
I don't disagree. And again, I love Melo, and Melo was great for Portland, he was great for Portland. Good for LA, great for Portland. I felt like, you know what I mean? Different circumstances, different situations, different able to contribute because he was good for Portland when Portland needed somebody to keep them while they were up 5, 10, 15, whatever. Keep them under 5, 10, 15, not let the game get out of control. Melo can't come in and close the gap. You know what I mean? He's going to keep you where you're at. and that's the problem.
The Lakers are still in prime position.
Listen.
To make a playoff run. Probably have to play, the Suns or the Warriors.
That's what I was saying. The thing is, you get into it,
good luck.
You get through one round, you get through 2 rounds. Now you're just probably beat up to the point where, can LeBron, and I love LeBron.
I don't know if they can get through 1 or 2 rounds as the 8th seed.
There you go. So and plus you got to get through the playing games. Yeah. Which, and again, I love LeBron, but I don't like his attitude toward the playing games last year. I don't like his I don't like his focus is on I want to play with my kid, not championships. I don't like his focus. I want to play with my friends, not championships. I'm not even gonna lie, bro, and it's all good because it worked out for him. But I didn't love the idea of him going to Hollywood because he had opportunities to go to teams where he could win championships.
Yeah, I can't. I don't ever want to speak on what another man should do for their future with their life, but as a fan, I would have to agree. Him taking this new approach to life, to the sport, to his future, he's allowed to do it. It's deserving, but as a fan, I don't want to say it tarnishes
but here's the thing.
My image of LeBron, but it hurts a little bit.
It hurts.
It hurts a
I
little
will say, though, he has an opportunity to reset in the offseason, and if they cannot reset it, if they can reset it and can go forward, show the opportunity that, you know what I mean, they can go all in and maybe win a championship next year or the year after, then I think all it gets forgiven, and he does things like put up 56 in the same game that Steph Curry only scores 30, and it's kind of okay, you already won the championship as long as you get back to that,
Yeah.
Speaking of people putting up 50 over the weekend, Jason Tatum put up 54 points against Brooklyn.
He was hooping.
Brooklyn are now losing, I think it was 7 out of 12 or 9 out of 12 or something crazy. But Boston just on a roll defensively. It was great the last month. Actually, probably since middle of December, they've been great. But, they made them, but I can't stand Boston. I'm a Sixers fan, so I can't stand, I'm not going to root for them, but they climb up the ladder. Tatum having games like that, he's been a baller since he's been in the league.
Oh, yeah, he is.
the Sixers should have drafted him over Ben Simmons. I can finally admit that.
That feels good.
Because before Ben did what he did, like in the playoffs last year, I genuinely was okay with where he was at as a player because, anyways. But then you just can't do that. Another guy that scored 50 now before Sunday, my other guy, Ja Morant, 52 on Monday, 38 on Wednesday. The best way for me to always put Ja Morant, I always liked him. Obviously, Zion was going to be the number one pick. I always liked Ja Morant because he reminds me of like an athletic version of Allen Iverson. He can get up, dunk the ball, but he's just got the aggression, the handles, the defense, and he's a little better on defense too. But
the swag,
he's been my guy. Like
he's a beast
since the first time I saw his highlight reel, I guess when he was in college, and then I kind of followed him because he got a big win in his senior year early. But I didn't know about him until then.
He's a future league MVP.
I hope, man. And Iverson tweeted that, so I was even more hyped because, like, everybody who knows me, Iverson is my GOAT. Yep. So, I mean, Ben Simmons is going to be at the Wells Fargo Center on Thursday. If you're not doing anything, you might want to watch it.
Or go. Just
dude,
go. Stand outside.
Boo him. As he's walking into the...
Boom. They're going to be doing a lot more than boom.
Oh, man.
If they
don't throw anything, but...
If they throw full beers during, like, preseason games at the buses...
That's true. Ben's, yeah. Listen, I know where the away team walks in, too.
I bet you do.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, any true...
Funny story, you'll like this. My dad, we went to Notre Dame versus Nova, and Nova walked into, like, the same place that the away teams walk into or whatever, because that was just their entrance. They didn't get to walk into the real thing. So my dad and I were standing there because we thought Notre Dame was going to be up there, and Notre Dame came after them. Well, when Nova got off the bus in Philadelphia, my dad and I are standing there just absolutely hassling Nova as they're walking into the Wells Fargo. And then Notre Dame came and we were cheering for them. But they had to be thinking, like, we're in Philly. How is this happening? How is this even, like... But it was Philly people doing it. So we were undercover that day. So... Exactly. One of the only days I've ever been undercover in Philly. But anyways, Ben, listen. He's gonna hear everything he deserves. How do you need a practice run? He's not gonna play on. This is how I look at it. This might not be true, but this is how I think the Nets and him are approaching it. Okay, how do you need to walk into Philly you need to sit there and hear what it's gonna be like when you're playing basketball later on this year against them for the playoff? He needs a practice run? Come on.
He thinks he's going to be playoff booze.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What do you think is going to be the same? No. It's going to be so much more intense.
Dude, Iverson ain't ringing the bell before Game 4 when Philly can close it out in Wells Fargo against Ben Simmons.
You're wasting your time.
Or Bryce Harper's ringing the bell that night for a playoff game.
Because baseball's back or something crazy. Yeah.
And someone cuts a promo and name drops Ben Simmons. Me. Yeah. Oh, he has a whole diss.
Before Game 1 on Ben.
Yep.
But that's all they need to do. Ben will be out of it. You know what?
So he's definitely not making a shot.
Off the record, you told me the best thing that Philadelphia needs to do, and I was laughing so hard about it all day. Thursday night, the Philadelphia 76ers need to have Gritty in a ski mask ring the bell, and then I told you that I think that they should put boxing gloves on him and have him just kind of... No. Keep the ski mask on and just stand behind, like, 2 rows behind Ben the whole game. Just have Gritty just stand behind Ben, 2 rows behind him the whole game. In a Sixers Ben Simmons jersey, just grilling him, the whole time. Just let him know what I'm there for. Because I'm Gritty and I don't do basketball, but I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
Yeah. So that's all. That to me, I was laughing at the whole Gritty thing today, man. That made me laugh so hard. But anyways. I can't believe he needs a practice run. It's going to be rough for him that night.
It's not surprising.
He's
a soft ass bitch.
Speaking of them losing so many games, I do kind of, and again, just me thinking, conspiracy theorist, sports guy, I think that they wanted to have a lower seed so that they could have Kyrie Irving in any Game 7 in the playoffs. No matter what they ran into, East, West, they would have him no matter what in Game 7.
If that's what they're writing home about, that's not a good recipe.
Listen,
so.
I think that only playing because we only have a month left in the season, it's going to be 6-7 games that Ben plays with them, and it's only going to be 3 or 4 with Kyrie because Kyrie on the road. So like, is that enough?
No.
Is that going to be enough for them to be able
Absolutely
to get into it?
not.
And I love Kevin Durant. Like, I am a huge Kevin Durant fan, but I just, to me, as good as he is, and he can win a series or two, but I mean, going up against the Heat or Milwaukee, Philly, in a whole series, is he going to be able to do that with those two? Where he
highly unlikely.
And I mean, I try not to be this guy, but like, Kyrie and Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a good mix? Like, okay, so moving on, and not just on the floor. I mean, in general, like your locker room's got some wild stuff going on there.
Definitely.
KD's the calmest.
By far.
That's nuts.
By far.
The Joker also, and listen, he's my fake rival because enemy. He's my fake enemy because everyone pits him up against Joel, and I'm just like, listen, Joel's got 2 dimensions to his game, and Joker only got 1. Mm-hmm. But 46, 11, and 11 on Sunday, but that's not even the most impressive part. He only had 16 points going into the fourth quarter. He had 30 in the fourth quarter in overtime.
Unbelievable.
No question, he's the whole reason they won that game.
He gets buckets.
I have to admit, I was paying attention to that game, but only because it was the last leg of a 5-leg parlay. And once CJ McCollum hit his 23rd point with 4 minutes to go, I stopped. I didn't even.
Nope, went to sleep.
No, I didn't even go sleep. I was watching another game, but I didn't even check back on that game. The next morning I woke up and I was like, Joker scored 46 and oh wow! Like I totally didn't even just. I was focused on one thing and one thing only, my own money. So
that's the way it should be.
But he balled out. 11 and 11 is a big deal, and he had a bunch of huge shots down the stretch.
16 for 20 from the field.
That's incredible for his size and who he is, and he strokes the ball so well. Like I said, it's a fake rivalry. It's a
He's
fake
productive.
enemy
He's productive as
because
hell.
I do genuinely like him. I love his attitude. I love his brother's attitude.
Yeah.
His brothers. I love their attitude. Anyways, so.
College basketball.
Yeah.
It's time. Last week was the final week of the regular season. This is the beginning of championship week. It started today. The nice little 2 o'clock Tuesday tournament games. Love them.
Me too.
I'm so excited for the upcoming weekend.
I was gonna say the next 3 weekends of college basketball are the 3 best weekends of college
Hands
basketball.
down, no problem.
They're fun.
Yeah. Last regular season week did see some of the rest of the top 10 fall from the previous week.
That's true. That's true.
Kansas lost to TCU.
Yeah.
Duke lost to UNC. Nova did beat Providence, number 11 Providence. So
that was a big win for Nova.
That was a huge win going into the tournament. Are they in the same conference tournament? Are they in the same conference?
Nova and Providence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So definitely huge. Did that give Nova the number 1 seed?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then Purdue lost to Wisconsin, so they were both ranked pretty high in the top 15.
And the Purdue loss to Wisconsin opened the door for Illinois. So that a big win against big comeback win against Iowa on Sunday night. That's the game I was watching instead of watching the end of the Joker game.
Awesome, yeah. So the week that was in college basketball was a dandy week, as these last couple weeks have been. So it certainly serves up for a great March Madness. I think tonight we have Gonzaga and St. Mary's playing it for the second or third time this year.
Yeah, they split, didn't they?
What's that?
Didn't they split?
Yeah. So I think that's the Mountain West conference tournament.
And Gonzaga on Monday almost lost to San Francisco. They only beat them by like 11 points, but it was
10.
It was within 5 with 3 or 4 minutes left.
And St. Mary's didn't cover the 5.5 last night either.
Oh,
so
there you go.
So it should be the the kickoff to the tournament. So very excited for that. We'll tap into the conference tournaments coming up.
I'd like to circle back. I'm a Coach K fan, but you're a Duke fan, so we don't have to talk about necessarily just the loss, but Coach K, it's a rough way to go out, but I love.
There's only one way now to send him out.
I agree.
I could do the whole hoopla, get on a soapbox, and just express all my love for Coach K. Coach K has provided me with more championships than any other of my teams in my lifetime.
Very true.
So I'm forever indebted to Coach K. His lovely family, his speech, everything was incredible.
I was about to say, well, the speech.
And I am I'm personally always been a huge John Shire fan. As soon as I saw him on the bench, him and Nolan Smith on the bench a few years ago as assistants, and then Capel started going out. A few of Nate. Drawing a blank. Nate on the coaching staff. He went somewhere.
Like Bray, well before all of them. Same lineage though. Yeah.
And then
coach them probably.
And then it kind of timed up perfect with John Shire, Duke national champion. He's been their pillar of recruiting the past couple years.
Yeah.
So
he's an awesome coach.
Yeah. So I really think there shouldn't be much drop off, but. The sideline at Cameron Indoor isn't going to be the same.
Two things. I was laughing, and I'll tell the story after, real quick. After the what I want to say, the Coach K thing though, with his speech. Coach K's speech. What I love about Coach K is like first thing he came out was like, this isn't part of it, but this is embarrassing, and we shouldn't have lost this game.
Keeps it real.
Like that's what showed, but that's just his overall aggression and how mad he was about what just happened, and like no, you guys came to see us and we disappointed you. Like that was his first thought, not thank you all for being here because like you're here for me and like wow, like me. No, he was like, I'm sorry to you guys because I'm part of messing that up. That just shows one, the kind of coach he is and why he got to where he is, and number two, a line that's always going to stick with me forever because I love Coach K before this, but like it's just something that's like always going to cement it for me. He said that he'll never say that he loves basketball more than anything because the people he loves more than anything gave him an opportunity to love basketball. That got me, and that's part of what I love Coach K.
Yep.
The reason I was laughing though, man, and this is like a personal, for you and I, but part of the whole reason we're here because like we've always been friends. I remember when Rodney Hood transferred there, and I was following Rodney Hood from the time he was a sophomore in college.
My guy,
right? Because he was my guy because my name. So I love Rodney Hood, and then I saw his transfer to Duke, and I remember telling you about it and like telling you how I was like he's gonna be the man, blah blah blah. And I was a fake Duke fan for 2 years while Rodney Hood was there with you. Like I just remember like I would come and watch Duke games with you because my guy was there. Like so I was like. I was laughing, thinking like, man,
Jabari,
that's how far we go back. Jabari, right? I was gonna say
Jabari and Rodney.
Oh my gosh, bro, Jabari, and I love Jabari because of it. So, really funny, just personal connection to us.
But. Fun times. Thank you, Coach K.
Yes, thank you, Coach K. Definitely. Absolutely. But the USA basketball, dude, he's such an impact on the game that we know of basketball.
He made it better.
And shout out one last thing. He went from being able to the days at Army, the days of where he had to recruit people and have them there for 8 years. And Duke's not a school that they're very Notre Dame like you're not going there and slacking off. You got to be able to get what you did. He was able to transition from having those solid teams as deep into the early 2000s, mid 2000s, able to flip it, catch up to the one and done. Maybe missed a year or two. There was no question. There was a little, but figured it out and got aggressive. And he was right there. Just impressive all around. You watch his transition, evolution. So,
kudos to Coach K.
PGA Tour last weekend. Scotty Scheffler. Won the
Arnold Palmer.
It was the Arnold Palmer. I was staring at the golf course and I could not think of the
Bay Hill.
Yeah, Bay Hill. But. Won the Arnold Palmer. Tough course.
Very tough course. You took it at, what was it?
Minus 5.
Minus 105. Or, minus 5. Minus 5. So that's not...
No, that's a very tough course for them. So, but I'll be honest, watched the first 2 days and I just kind of bombed out watching the last 2 days. So, I hate when they do that.
Yeah, so did I. I was tracking going into the weekend because I gave out my best value pick last week. Yeah. It was
close.
Victor Hovland. He came out of the gates leading the tournament, actually.
I did see that, and I forgot that was your pick, and then you were talking about it, you're like, did you see? I was like, oh my gosh, he finished second. Like, what?
Yeah, he had a shaky weekend, but still, going into this week, the Players' Championship, he played very well. He's number 4th ranked PGA golfer on the tour, so I was happy to see my best value pick almost cash in, so it was... That's what kept me watching.
Yeah, and the Arnold Palmer's always been a good warm up for the first.
It's a great warm up
for the first major and for championships in Walla Walla. So it's always, the season golf, and I always like it comes upon so quick because like it starts so weird early in the year, but then by the time
it starts like Dubai in January,
right? But that's what I mean. But then like springtime comes and you're like, oh yeah, like we got big tournaments like
Masters,
now. So
yeah, I think the Masters is like right around Easter.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow, Bristol is Easter, so
that's awesome.
If that's the same weekend, that'd be nuts.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Bristol dirt race. Moving on.
UFC. Hoodie is. He's always had his foot in the water, but he's putting his leg in.
I'm loving it, man.
He's getting ready to go swimming in the shallow end of the UFC waters.
I have family that loves UFC, so I actually went and watched the fight with some family and had some people who are into jiu-jitsu and all kinds of was as into the storyline as you, all of that. Explaining to me, I'm talking from the Greg Hardy fight, even before that, but from the Greg Hardy fight on the pay-per-view on. It was awesome. So
that good stuff, yeah. So we had a pay-per-view this week, Covington versus Masvidal. It was a blood war. It was a war of former best friends. Very rarely does Dana make a main event fight a non-title fight.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes in itself right there.
And a rivalry, gives you that.
Exactly. When they asked Dana about it, he said this is the fight everyone wanted to see, so we made it. Which was.
And listen, I have my problems with Dana, but that's something that Dana's always willing to do. He's willing to give the people what they want.
When they go in that war room and they make those fights, they are arguably the best matchmakers in the game. So they certainly give you what you want.
Listen,
and it's way deeper than just this UFC 272. I mean, they're building it out. So
I agree.
It's a sweet science. But Colby did what Colby does. Comes in. He's a stellar wrestler, Pac-12 champion wrestler. So he's no joke. He's a D1 guy. He's been on the mat his whole life. So he came out, took Masvidal down 6 times. Was capitalizing on the ground. He had about 30 more landed strikes than Masvidal, but that directly correlates to Masvidal didn't have any takedowns. So
for sure.
He was striking just from the stand-up position and just from countering and trying to get back up.
Okay.
So the 3 judges all scored it as a unanimous decision for Colby, 49-46, 50-44, and 50-45, all for the winner, Colby Covington. So that kind of sets Colby up now to he called out Dustin Poirier. He thinks he can bang with Dustin. So a lot of things go into that fight. One thing that I kind of knew Colby was going to do. Colby's going to hold the glove. He's going to do all those little things, all those little legal things. Wrap his toes in the cage. Knee him in the low blow. The eye poke in the first round. I mean, that's what Colby does. That's how Colby stays relevant.
Okay.
And then if Colby can out wrestle you, he's going to take you to the ground. And he's going to be 1,000-pound boulder on you and not let you move.
And listen, so as somebody who comes from the boxing world, because I do love boxing, I definitely would rather a nice, back and forth or whatever, But at the end of the day, strategy and how you win the fight, consensus at definitely the place I was at, everyone thought for sure he clearly, like you said, unanimous won it. Even watching it,
he 100% unanimous.
And while I understand it because I understand the strategy and how these guys all explain to me, it's not. But I also would have thought, okay, yes, if I was scoring it under their ruling, he won. He won. Like that's just how
he controlled the ground. He was more active on the ground.
Right. So
Jorge had to fight from the defensive position all night. One thing that did impress me, and I know Jorge Masvidal did come out and say that he was flat on his feet. He wrestled flat. He didn't look great, but I would counter that with I thought probably out of the 6 takedowns, he at least got up from 4 of them.
Oh yeah.
And was able to reset. But the amount of drain that brings on a human being.
I was gonna say he still looked freshish at the end of the fight. Where I do feel like if there was an opportunity and they were standing up even a couple rounds longer, he might have gotten another good bop
certainly
because it takes a lot out of you. Like clearly, I watched in the other fights, those guys once they were taken to the down, they had no chance at all, and it still felt like I didn't feel like he had a chance to win the fight, but he had a chance to still get a pop in. And that's not usually the case in those situations.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be doing the fight justice or Jorge Masvidal any justice if I didn't mention he did connect. I mean, it was a beautiful shot right to the chin.
He did.
In the 4th round.
That was a nice shot.
I just don't think he had any gas to really hop on and really finish him. But he could have.
Yeah.
He certainly could have.
But that's
I don't know if the ref would have called it.
The fact that he was able to hit him like that, I think he would have had another hit like that a couple rounds later if they kept going.
I mean,
and that's what impressed me.
He's got hammers.
Yeah,
he's got hammer fists.
Other guys who got taken down like that for the whole entire fight, I would have thought there's no way they're throwing anything that would near have that power. So
I would say, as for the rest of the pay-per-view, it was a really solid card. I think it got snubbed for fight bonus of the night. The Colby and Jorge fight got fight of the night, so he'll get a bonus for that. But
that shouldn't have got fight of the night.
Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell
for sure should have got fight
his unanimous decision over Edison Barbosa. It was so convincing. It was actually like alarming, and not for me, but I think for the rest of the UFC and for the bantamweight division, because
you've been talking.
I mean, what are you gonna do? My man literally took a 36-year-old proven professional fighter, former UFC champion, I believe, to the ground, controlled him for 11 minutes on the ground, did not let him do anything, and connected with 173 ground strikes. They talk about being busy on the ground and continuing to keep the pace of the fight, and he kept the same pace of the fight as he would standing up as he did on the ground. So he's very, very, very talented, very impressive, and he's the future. I think Dana he'll give him 1 or 2 more prove it tune-up fights, and then I think Bryce is going to be a main event guy. Thug Nasty is
I'll be honest, he was entertaining, really entertaining fight for his style. Was still super entertaining because you said how impressive he was when he got to it. Also, you had put me on a little bit before him. Like you said about how Barbosa might be the better, over takedown, blah 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 stuff. But Mitchell's the better fighter. You know what I mean?
He's scrappy,
and he showed that. He showed that in that fight.
Yeah, and he tried to swing with Barbosa, but he got caught a couple times, and he was like, "All right, I know how I'm going to win this fight.
We got to win it. That's the point."
Very smart. And then before we transition on, shout out to Bryce Mitchell. After he won, he went up there and he said he was going to donate $45,000 to
awesome
the underprivileged kids in his home state of Arkansas. And he did the whole spiel. He's a very, very faith-oriented guy.
Yes.
So it was super motivational.
Very not mean stuff. For sure.
Yeah.
Too.
And then after the fight, Dana actually told him, "You keep your money. I'm gonna put the $45,000 up."
That is awesome.
So
I got another reason that I like. I don't like Dana, but I like that.
So
Dana.
That $45,000 was half of Thug Nasty's fight purse.
For sure, right?
So and then to highlight the night, Khabib Nurmagomedov, the most deserving award I've seen in a long time across all sports, it is going to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Very young to have that stature, to have that title, but very well deserved. 29-0. Arguably, a lot of people say he never lost a round in the UFC ever in his life. So pure dominance. So it's only right.
I did like him, and again, that was me dipping my toes, and I did see a lot of his, a lot of his fights, but I saw a couple of his fights. So.
What I'm I wouldn't say most. Well, yeah, I guess at this point, most excited for is the next chapter of Khabib and watching him become the Hall of Fame trainer and coach now.
Yeah.
He already started the Eagle FC. They actually fight this Friday.
Okay.
So he's got his own promotion. He's got 3 or 4 of his own fighters that he trains. He's a great guy. He's going to give back for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's going to live in his dad's image, and his biggest mission is to make all of his dad's dreams and wants come true. So he's gonna do amazing things for the rest of his life.
He started off very well with his fighter, already having an opportunity for the belt, right?
Yeah. So, he's got 2 fighters that are literally neck and neck, and who are probably next up.
Pretty awesome. Not to end the UFC on a low light, but I mean, watching Greg Hardy getting beat up was always fun for me. So
yeah, my brother texted me and was like, he got put on for the set because I mean he wore the star at one point in time.
He did.
And then
I don't like Greg Hardy, but
and then
it didn't look good.
And then he followed up with the next text like he's probably not gonna though because I mean this guy beat the guy who beat Greg Hardy is a stud.
Yeah,
absolute
well,
stud.
He was the other night for sure.
He beat Tai Tuivasa before, and who Greg Hardy got knocked out by. So
okay.
I mean, and Tai Tuivasa is probably he's the number 3 ranked fighter in the heavyweight. So
all right,
yeah.
So moving on, Sunday. Had a little drama for NASCAR at Las Vegas. Alex Bowman won the race. Listen, to shorten a long race, nobody really led a lot of laps, and then about 45 laps to go, Kyle Busch led until about maybe 8 laps to go, and Eric Jones got into an accident, and it brought out a green-white checkered. And the green-white checkered basically is too many races back in the day, and Dale Earnhardt, my favorite NASCAR driver of all time, his Daytona 500 was won under yellow flag. Too many races back in the day were won under the yellow flag. They don't really love that image. Like I'll be honest, NASCAR still, I know it bothers them that the image is him going slow across that finish line for his Daytona 500 win, and I understand why it would. Like it's so they
yeah.
That wasn't the only reason, but that's a huge catalyst to why green white checkered. Okay, but they've done it for a long time. Kyle Busch was complaining because he went into the pits. His team got 4. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, they're on Team Hendrick. The Hendrick cars decided we're only taking 2. They came out first, second. They had the front lane. They basically drag raced two laps to win the race. My thought, because Kyle Busch swore, this MF are always backing into MF or I don't like Kyle Busch, for everyone who needs to understand, but he was lined up on Alex Bowman's bumper for the restart on the green white checkered. So the way I looked at it was like, well, Bowman came out of the pits first, which, okay, that's all within the rules. He didn't do anything to break the rules to do that. You had an opportunity to pass him, and you couldn't. Like, you physically, your car either wasn't fast enough. Clearly that was, like, okay. But either way, like, still. So, like, you complaining means absolutely nothing, because we're so far into the green-white checker that, like, at this point, if you can't figure out the strategy or handle it right, to me, that's not somebody backing into a win. That means they did. It's just like if somebody won the game in the 9th inning. Like, just because a team's winning for 8 innings does not mean that team's going to win the baseball game. Should they? Probably. I'm not going to sit here and have an argument, but either way, you didn't do what you needed to do as the team to win the race. So it's just Kyle Busch complaining is hilarious. He ended up 4th. Kyle Larson finished 2nd, and Ross Chastain, who had a great day overall, and I didn't realize, but he finished 3rd. But he led a lot of laps, and he was probably the most dominant car. So, like, that's the other side of it. Like, Kyle Busch dominated towards the end, but Ross Chastain had the most dominant car all day anyway. So, like, it's stupid to me. But either way, Bowman winning the race. The plus side for me is 2 things. One, I bet on it. I had him finishing in the top 3, and that was plus 400, and he won the race. So I was super excited when he came out of the pit second. He was in the top 5 most of the race, especially the final 2 stages. But, like, he was, like, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5th, 5th. Like, I was like, oh, no. And then went in the pits 5th, came out 2nd, and I was like, oh.
There it is.
Like, I was just jumping up and down. And also the other reason, because I like Chase Elliott, so I bought my son diecast. For people who don't understand, this is a very big version of a diecast. But diecast cars are just the little cars, the little NASCARs like Hot Wheels. So I bought my son, my favorite, Chase Elliott, and then I bought him his teammates, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. I bought him my other favorites, Earnhardt Jr., all these other cars. But anyway, so he picked this offseason Alex Bowman as his favorite car because he put together that, all right, well, this is daddy likes him, blah, blah, blah. So Alex Bowman, 3 races in, wins while my son, is his favorite driver. So shout out to Blaze. His driver got a W this weekend. So sentimental for me as well. Also, while I was laughing at Kyle, also part of the reason why I'm laughing at Kyle Busch, because it's just like it all comes together for me there.